So today is definitely a day where I hate what I do, or like hate the things that come with what I do. Oh, one of my pictures is falling down. So I've been having a lot of fun with the new Silk Sonic song "Smoking Out the Window." Like, it is like my favorite song right now. I've done, and I did some videos on it, like featuring me and my husband. I just finished doing a cover of it, and I am going to do a music video to it either today or tomorrow or Friday, depending on how I feel. But let me just say that it is absolutely fucking terrifying what little it takes to trigger men, heterosexual men, into a rage and into physical or verbal fucking violence. Because I made a video, you've probably seen it, making fun of me asking my husband to clean the dishes and take out the garbage because it's been stacking up. And then his internal thoughts are the song "Smoking Out the Window" being dramatic, of course. That this bitch got me paying her, whatever. And a whole bunch of men took that and decided to come after me and be like, well, why don't you do it yourself? Why don't you do it? What the fuck are you doing sitting around? You can't just post pictures on Instagram all day. One man said that he would choke me. Like, for real. And just like absolute crazy fucking shit. Like, that's the minimum. Some men, like a few of these men, claim to be married, and that's really fucking terrifying. A few were fucking women. And this goes, and there's two issues here, right? The fragility of toxic masculinity and parasocial relationships. I'll get into the parasocial first. The fact that so many motherfuckers think that because I reveal a 20-second, or I do a rendition of a 20-second snippet of my life, a parody version of my life in 20 seconds, that you assume that you know all the dynamics of my fucking marriage, that you know the assignment of chores within my fucking house, that you have the fucking audacity to make these goddamn comments. Why don't you do it yourself? What the fuck are you doing? And while I'm here, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Oh, just maintaining the entire house, doing your home decor, because a home doesn't just make itself a home itself. I pay for all that shit, getting scented candles and all that shit, all this decor, all of this shit, keeping a home looking cute. Yeah, I fucking do that. Vacuuming, mopping, cleaning up after the pets, taking the dog to fucking daycare, sweeping the backyard, sweeping the front fucking yard, the front patio, cooking for us, cooking dinner, cooking his lunch, making his lunch, doing laundry. Oh, all of this, by the way, while having an acting career, a singing career of my own to maintain. So I have to balance all of that while he's at work. And then he comes home and I ask him to do two fucking things. Since everyone wants to fucking know. And as far as the fucking men, be like, oh, well, you can't just sit there and be, post on Instagram all day. I'm like, actually, I can, because you know what? I served in the military for almost a fucking decade and made enough money so that we could move in to this house in the first place. And now I stay home because I am PTSD disabled. That's why I stay home. The bare minimum it takes to coax a violent fucking reaction out of men is terrifying. And that's why, and this shit is why we don't give a fuck when some of y'all say not all men. No, for our safety, all men. All men. Until proving otherwise, all fucking men. Because we can't fucking risk it. There's men in my, threatening to choke me off a 20-second video. Parodizing my life, doing a parody of my fucking life. That's how little it takes. It is terrifying being around you guys. And I tell you what, like, it's hard reading things like that and having PTSD, because honestly, when I saw that choke comment, I went and took a Xanax. Honestly, because that brought some shit up. Like the fact that y'all feel okay saying things like that. What's wrong with you? Yeah, you know what? Until you prove it, all men. And it's up to each man to prove that individually. Because that is the fear that we have to live in. Because you got motherfuckers like this walking around in real life and on the fucking internet. Okay? I literally started taking a different route to pick my dog up from daycare because there's construction going on the street, and there are a whole bunch of construction workers, and I could not make it through that street without being sexually harassed, catcalled, whistled at least 5 times. And then when you don't acknowledge them, or when you ignore them, they get upset and start threatening you. Yeah, no, until you prove it individually, all men. That's what we have to assume. It's not to take a fucking funny dig at you. It's for our fucking safety. We have to assume all men. We have to. Because not letting our guard down could result in us losing our lives. Y'all are fucking scary out here, and it is not fucking okay. And also, doing this to some of your favorite creators is a great way to get them to stop posting and creating shit for you. Just saying. Parasocial relationships with internet celebrities, or just celebrities in general, content creators, people that you follow, parasocial relationships, and just the fucking fragility of toxic masculinity. Men, get your boys. Men that are doing their best to not be toxically masculine, and you're getting out of that camp, get your fucking boys. And call out that fucking behavior. As I do see a lot of men doing in the comments, and that's really great. But you need to get your fucking boys. You really want us to stop saying all men? Then get your boys. Speak up. Because it is terrifying for us out here. You guys get your feelings hurt. We can get much more hurt than just feelings. And again, I've said, when you post on the internet, you kind of put yourself out there as, fair game, and you can choose to respond to whatever you want to or not. And I responded to what I kind of wanted to. And now I'm going to let this pill sink in and just peter out. Because dealing with this stuff, like, you can't, you can't engage too much, because you'll run yourself ragged. But that's what happens. That's what happens when you put yourself out there. But it still does not excuse just how violent and triggered these guys are. Goodbye.